Okay, so today what we are going to do is we are going to first of all introduce myself to this group. Some of you might be knowing me, some of you are new to me, and I'm new to you all. I'm co-founder GeniusInYou. My name is Gurpreet. This is an initiative that we started in August. It's me and my wife together, but this particular program is run by me. Um, this is something which we started in 2023. And as we go along this presentation, you will see the students. I think some of them have joined today who will give you live testimonials about our program that they were enrolled in last year and what were the results. Uh, Outside of this, I'm also working a full-time. I'm a director of product management in a leading SaaS company, 20 plus years of experience in technology sector. Just to be frank, this is my first year teaching or mentoring teenagers or kids. Before that, my 20 years, I've been mentoring all professionals because I was a product manager. So it was like engineers, UX team, technical architect, all professional. But this is the first time last 1 year I'm having my experience teaching and also learning with these students. I also have an experience as a founder of a technology startup when I was in Bangalore. That was way back in 2007, 2009. Before I go to next slide, can someone gives me a thumbs up that my voice is clear? Great. Okay, so let's go to the agenda of today's open house. So introduction is out of the way. I'm going to show you some of the last year results that we achieved through this program, both for Academies of Loudoun and TJ. I'm going to explain you the test formats of these two schools as also our course format, like what we are going to do to achieve successful test results. Then we're going to go through live testimonials, program details, which is the meat of today's open house. That's the one thing everyone is most interested in. Then we'll end up with Q&A. And I have also created a frequently asked questions based on my interaction with the parents over last 8 to 9 months. And finally, the next steps after this open house. Let's go to our last year results. So if you see, we started this program last year, and when I have more time, I'll tell you the story why I started this. But eventually, I started with one student, which was my own son, her Sahaj. Then we got Anika. Anika joined us, and we just started with these two guys from day one. Then slowly Pranjal came in, Anushka, Paul. So eventually I had 5 to 6 students. In fact, six students who were getting prepped for Academies of Loudoun test. Out of those 6 students, Anika got a confirmed offer for AET for this year, and all others are waitlisted. On the TJ, out of those 6 students, only 4 were eligible to take the TJ test. Out of those 4, we got 3 students selected with confirmed offer in TJ. So that's the result from our last year. I hope we can replicate that in the future years as well. With that, let's go into why you guys are here, right? What are these magnet schools? What are these tests? Why they are so important? And especially for rising 8th graders who are gonna take this test from November, I would say October till February this year and next year. Let's start with Academies of Loudoun. Now, Academies of Loudoun is a school in Leesburg. It's a magnet school. Most of you guys will be knowing that this is only applicable for Loudoun parents. This school does not take anyone outside of Loudoun, for example, Fairfax. So the entrance for this school, which is a 90-minute test that consists of 2 segments. The first one is the STEM thinking skills assessment. This is like critical thinking questions. They have few different categories of questions they will ask. And then it's 24 to 28. I think last year it was 24 questions. There's 50 minutes of time given for this. And then this follows up with a writing assessment. Now the writing assessment is also a topic which is related to math or science or environmental social events. But we have seen last few years, the topics are mostly around environmental events, right? So that's the test format of Academies of Loudoun. Now, both Academy of Engineering Technology, which is AET, and Academy of Sciences, these are the two programs offered by Academies of Loudoun School. Both these programs, they have one same test, but when they announce the results, there are two different sets of results. So they will have selections in AET and selections in AOS separately, right? So some students will make into AET, some will make into AOS, some will get both AET and AOS, and some will be waitlisted in both AET and AOS. But the test that they undertake is just one test, and it's the same test, same format for both the programs. But their criteria is little different between AET and AOS, which they don't divulge. But normally, next year, the students who are undertaking this, you will see two different lists coming out of Academies of Loudoun. Now, coming to what we are going to do in our course, which is our prep course that we run at GeniusInYou. First of all, we are going to give students a detailed orientation on day one of what these tests comprise of. For example, sample questions. We are going to tell them what are those criteria, what kind of questions are going to come for the STEM thinking skill assessment. And then we'll follow up with what kind of essays or what kind of logical topics that will come for them to write that writing assessment. In this program, we are going to have 20 classes. Each class is going to be 90 minutes each, and then it's going to be across 3 months, July to September. The students will, of course, learn the STEM thinking skills test, and they will plan to structure. So I'll come into detail exactly how we run, what day we run, but the high level 50,000 feet view is that there are 20 classes, 90 minutes each across 3 months. They will learn these questions because they will practice these questions here. They will learn how to write an essay. Again, they are going to practice it here. Then there is going to be a review session. It's in a group setting where we have one class who is going to take the test. They're going to come and they're going to review their answers with me, and we're going to talk about their essays and how they can improve. And that's also going to happen every week. And then again, there is a practice, lots of practice on all these questions, which are not typically taught in schools because they're a little different than what normally we get in. This is not regular math science questions. They're a little different than what normally they teach in schools. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat because we are going to have Q&A. And if you have anything in your mind, I would like you to just put that in a Q&A or in the chat here, and we'll address all those questions if they are not answered already in the presentation. Let's talk about the TJ test. Now, TJ is a magnet school in Fairfax in Alexandria, and they're open to multiple counties, including Loudoun, right? And then it means students in Loudoun, they have chance to appear both in Academies of Loudoun as well as TJ. Now, TJ test is very, very different than Academies of Loudoun. The test in TJ is, again, 90 minutes, but it's very, very writing essay-oriented test. It means there are no multiple choice questions. It's all about writing, and writing. There are 4 student portrait sheet questions, which are, again, essays, but they are more about your own personality, your career choice, why you want to go to what high schools, what subjects you want to take, what kind of job or business you want to do after your school. These kind of questions. Do you do any volunteering work? Explain that, right? It's more about selling yourself in that SPS questions. And there are 4 questions of that kind. And then it follows up with the one problem-solving essay, which can also be a math/science essay. But what we have seen is it's mostly math, and it's mostly revolves around either time distance problems or ratios, proportions, right? Those kind of essays. But again, it's in an essay format, and what they're looking is not for a right answer. They're looking for your approach. When you write that essay with your approach, what were you thinking when you were solving that problem is what TJ is interested in. So it's very different than Academies of Loudoun, which has 28 multiple choice questions, and an essay which is more on mostly environmental essay on an environmental event. But here it's 4 SPS, which is again different kind of essays, no multiple choice, but problem solving essay is also very different than what Academies of Loudoun asked for. Now, this course is not going to start in July on GeniusInYou. So the way we are segregating is first 3 months, we are going to focus on Academies of Loudoun, July till September. And then come October, we'll start the TJ prep. And from October till January, we are going to do the TJ course. Now, the course guidelines are almost same. Again, the 20 classes, 90 minutes each across 30 months. That's what we are going to do. And everything else is same, just that they're segregated. And the reason for that is Academies of Loudoun test is most probably going to happen in the months of October, November, and December, mostly October and November. And the TJ test normally happens in first or second week of February, right? So we'll focus next 3 months on Academies of Loudoun, and we'll follow it up with next 3 months on the TJ test. Right. With that, let's go into 3 testimonials. I think Vaishvi, you are on the call. Anika and Pranjal couldn't join because of conflict, but Vaishvi is on the call. Vaishvi, you want to speak about your experience with GeniusInYou last year?
Yep, I can.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me. But hi everyone, I'm Vaishvi, and I recently got into TJ. And honestly, like I couldn't have done it without these prep classes that are run by Gurpreet Uncle. So when I first started, I was really anxious about the whole TJ process, but these classes have definitely made everything so much clearer, and it was even like fun at times. So the way that these classes are structured was really great. We tackled all the tough topics and in a way that made sense. And since there's lots of kids there were lots of like group activities that made learning less stressful and more engaging. So I found that I was like able to understand and like gain the material much better because of like this interactive approach. And Gurpreet Uncle was definitely like amazing. He was always there to help whenever we had questions and kept pushing us to do our best. His support was definitely like a big reason of why I improved so much over the months. And he provided like valuable feedback that helped me understand where I needed to focus more. So yeah, and these classes, they didn't just prepare me like academically, they definitely boosted my confidence a lot. I felt ready to take the test and like the whole application process. So these prep classes definitely gave me the tools and the mindset that I needed to succeed. So if you're thinking about joining, I highly, highly recommend it. These classes made a huge difference for me, and I'm sure they can do the same thing for you. So yeah.
Thank you, Vaishvi, for such a nice feedback. And everyone, just to know, Vaishvi, she got a TJ offer. She also got a Academy of Loudoun offer. Just that she was not with us when she was prepping for Academies of Loudoun, right? But she got both the offers. I think she is gonna figure out which one to choose. But eventually, she was again one of our early students. I think she was 5th student, right? Vaishvi, 5th student in our
Yeah.
umbrella. So, thanks for such a awesome feedback, Vaishvi.
No problem.
And then we have one more. I'm not going to run all the videos, just one more from Anika. The reason is Anika was my 2nd student. That's why she was outside of my son, right, who I started teaching. She was the one who came to me and said, I want to join those classes. And, she was there from day one. And I know there was a lot of reservation in the beginning, but she was the one who came across. I think she's the one who has, who was with us from August last year or early September last year until now, right? And she's also part of our public speaking classes. So I'll just run this short video, what she has to say about our class.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anika, and I joined GeniusInYou about a year ago to help me prepare for the Academies of Loudoun and TJ entrance exam. And I'm thrilled to say that I got offered an admission at the Academy's AET program, and I truly owe a huge thanks to Gurpreet Uncle at GeniusInYou. I was a little nervous at first, but from day one, Gurpreet Uncle was super encouraging and he made everything seem interesting and fun. His passion for teaching really showed, and he always took the time to help us understand everything and encourage us to ask questions, which not only helped me with the exam, but made me a more confident learner overall. To all the new students here today, I want to tell you that you're in really good hands, and if you put your trust in GeniusInYou, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve.
Hello, everybody. I wanted to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for all the support Gurpreet Uncle and Harpreet Auntie have given me as I prepared for my exam for the Academies of Loudoun. Their dedication, guidance, and patience have made a significant difference in my understanding and confidence. Their explanations when they teach have always been so clear, and they make even the most complex topics so manageable and easy. I genuinely appreciate the time and effort they invest into helping all the students succeed. Thanks to them, I have felt much more prepared and optimistic before my exam. Thank you so much for being an incredible mentors and supporters. Thank you, GeniusInYou.
Testimonials, let me go back to the presentation, but I already thanked Anika enough for this awesome testimonial. She was one of the students who joined us, and she did not have any other enrichment classes outside of GeniusInYou. She and my son, and also Pranjal, they were only studying with us, and they were not having any other enrichment classes outside of our prep classes, and that's why those two reviews, and including Vashvi's, because she got selected in both. They're very near and dear to our hearts. Okay, so I'm going to reiterate a few things on the program just to drive home the point, what we plan to do, because now comes to the crux of our program, the details, the days, the location, the fee structure. But again, I want to reiterate what I mentioned before, that the first part of the program is July, August, September, which is focused on Academies of Loudoun. Again, there is only one test for both the programs, AET and AOS. AET stands for Academy for Engineering and Technology. AOS stands for Academy for Science. They're both the programs in Academies of Loudoun. On our side, there's going to be 3-month prep course, 20 sessions, which includes the trials, and we offer 2 trials. There will be mock test on Monday, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then there will be a group review sessions on Wednesdays/Fridays. And I'll tell you why I put 2 days here, because we are going to run an enrollment form, and we'll figure out where most of the students lie, and then we'll pick that day. The time right now during the summer vacation is 5:30 to 7, but once the school start mid-August, we are going to change that time to 6:30 to 8 to give chance to students who are coming from little far places to be available on time. On the TJ side, I won't take a lot of time here because this is a course which is going to start in October. So we'll have another TJ specific open house during that time frame by end of September or so. But again, it's a similar kind of course, 20 sessions, including trials. There's going to be, again, a test mock-up day, and there is going to be a group review day. Just that the content is going to be different because the test is totally different for TJ as compared to Academies of Loudoun. What's the fee structure? There are 2 absolutely free trial classes. The fee structure for Academies of Loudoun prep course is $1,000 per child, per child. And then it's 20 sessions over 3 months, as I stated before. The same thing you can copy and paste for TJ prep course, which is going to start in October. And then there is a combo that if a student wants to do both the courses, then it's going to be $1,750 per child for both the courses. Now, if you are interested in a combo, we are not asking for all the money in advance, all the fees in advance. It's just that I would suggest take the trial. If you like it, just take the AET AOS course. And then if you like, when you come again in October for the TJ course, then you get $250 discount. This is another way of looking at it, right? So right now, I would suggest there are 2 free trials, and I'll come to the details on how you can enroll. but there are free trials. You like it, then you pay, and then you come in. Right now, only for Academies of Loudoun Prep course. Where will the classes be held? Now, the classes are going to be held at our home. This is in Ashburn, very close to Brambleton, very close to, I would say, I know if you guys don't know about Stonehill Middle School, it's just opposite Stonehill Middle School. It's called Loudoun Valley Estates 2. So we are located there. Most of the times, even for the mock test and for your review classes, it's going to be in person for now, especially in summer, July and August. The mock test might move to online, virtual, once the students find right cadence and right way to work through a mock test. But I think initially for first couple of months, I would like to have them here with me for a couple of days in a week, so that one day they can just sit here in 90 minutes of silence. They will do a mock test here. And then another day, we're going to review that mock test, the results of that mock test. But eventually, I may move those mock tests to online format, where students will get a link through Google Classroom and they can sit at their home and spend 90 minutes and submit their answers. And then we can come back in person to review those answers. Now, the review sessions are not going to be online or virtual. The review sessions are always, and I say always, going to be in person, because I personally have learned this the hard way, because my son was in some virtual classes in 7th grade and 8th grade, and it was very difficult to just go through a virtual class where you have one Zoom window open and then there is a YouTube link open or there's a game open in the side. I don't trust the virtual classes work for these kind of programs. So the review sessions are always going to be in person. So that's kind of a thing that you'll have to take note. If you're not gonna commit for in-person classes, then this is not a course for you, right? So twice a week, it's gonna be in person for now. When school starts, definitely once a week, it's gonna be in person. Now, we are going to talk about few FAQs, and I'll see if there is some questions listed here. Okay, there is one question. So let's go through the FAQs first, and then if you guys have any questions, keep adding that to the chat. First question, which I normally get, is this program for rising 7th graders or rising 8th graders, right? And my short answer is this is for rising 8th graders, because they are the ones who are taking the test this winter. Rising 7th graders, they are not gonna take this test this winter. But I have received queries from so many rising 6th graders, 7th graders, student parents also, to see if they can join this course and get a head start, right? Again, my personal recommendation is this is for 8th graders, but I'm open if parents want a head start for 7th graders. But there is no difference between the mock test or the content or the teaching or the days between 7th and 8th graders. The way it's going to happen is for 8th graders who are going to come in and they will start learning about this mock test, spend 3 months. Immediately after 3 months, they have a test to take, right? So for Academies of Loudoun, July, August, September, they study. October and November, they take the test. For TJ, October, November, December, January, they study, and February, they take the test. But for rising 7th graders, they're going to study this year. By next year, they're going to forget everything. They're going to again redo the same thing, either with GeniusInYou or with somebody else, but it's going to be same content, right? So my personal recommendation is this is a rising 8th graders only. But if you want your child who is in rising 7th grade to get a head start again, especially if it's like he or she is not good in writing essays and want a head start, then only you consider this course. Rising 6th graders, definitely no. I'm not taking any rising 6th graders. I will prioritize rising 8th graders over rising 7th graders if I get more than the allotment that I have for these classes. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is that, do you offer makeups? That's also a question that's been asked a lot of times. The short answer is no. The reason for that is that we have, this is a running schedule. Every week, there is a mock test, there is a review, and it's over, right? If there is a student who misses a week or misses a day of the mock test, Mock test can still be done because it's mostly going to be online after like few weeks. So mock test is okay, but review session, if you miss your day, no, there is no makeup, right? But I can always help answer the questions if the student has any, but there is not going to be a separate class in a group setting where that student who missed his or her assigned day is going to come, right? Most probably I'm looking at Mondays and Wednesdays for now, but it might be Mondays, Wednesdays for one set of students, Mondays and Fridays for another set of students, right? But I will not encourage the Wednesday students to come to Fridays or vice versa if they are missing a class, right? I can help them get their mock test out of the way. They'll have time at home to do it, but they will not be a student running through different classes because they missed their own day. That's not going to happen. Can our kids start at a later stage? Okay, so this is a little different than what Anu you asked. So let me cover this and then I'll come to your question. I would not recommend it. What I have seen is that 3 months is an optimal time to prep for these tests. If you come later, then the program is already running, right? So let's say if you don't come in July and come in August, it means there are 3 to 4 tests that are already gone and only 7 are left, right? And if you don't even come in August, September, so you come in September and not in August, then in September, might be only 3 or 4 pending tests remaining. Technically, yes, you can join if I have spots available, because every week we are doing a different test. We are doing a different review. We are not carrying forward all the previous weeks of tests in every week. So yes, students can join at a later stage, but I will not recommend that. And also the second thing is I need to have spots left because I'm only one running these classes. So I don't want to have so many students in my class. I think I have put a limit of maximum 15 students per class. So that's what I will look at. So that's what I would not recommend doing it at a later stage. Question number 4, what all is needed for students to bring in our classes? We are slowly moving towards coordinating and collaborating better. So we are going to use Google Classroom, like what we use for all our other classes, and they're very successful. The students need to have their personal email address. Last year, I worked with students' LCPS email addresses, but I don't like using school's email address. So better all the students, they have their personal email address. They need to have their laptop, MacBook. Again, these are online tests. We want to create the similar environment that they will do they will actually have to go through when they take the test. So a laptop, MacBook is required. We don't do printouts and check boxes on the printouts and those kind of things. So, and also the phones and school Chromebook may not work because Google Classroom does not open in school Chromebooks, and even the links to Google Docs or whatever forms that we have to submit those tests may not open on school Chromebooks. We had these kind of challenges last year. This year, I would like to make sure that if you have a laptop or a MacBook, please use that and not school's Chromebook. In case you have a school's Chromebook, then I'll have to work with you one-on-one and figure out how we can fix and enroll you through your school's Chromebook, but it's a little difficult. It's challenging for me as well as challenging for students to submit assignments using school's Chromebook. Then there is Scratchpad along with pen and pencil. Again, when you are solving a problem, you need a Scratchpad, you need a pen and pencil. This is also something you will get on the test day when you're writing your test. Either it's TJ or it's Academies of Loudoun. When you're solving something and you need, especially for TJ, I don't think Academies of Loudoun needs a lot of scratch work, but definitely TJ, when you're solving the big problem-solving essay, you need a big paper, you need a pen or a pencil, and you need to write your thought process in there so that you can replicate that on the online version. Can these dates and the days and the times change? As of now, my preference is to run these classes Monday and Wednesday. Monday will be mock test, Wednesday will be review. But again, based on the enrollment request that I'll get from the parents and I will ask some of the days, I'll go through that as well. I might change the Wednesday day to Friday. I'll just keep 2 days, but two separate batches. But when the school starts, which is after 15th of August, the time will shift from 5:30 to 7, from 5:30 to 7 to 6:30 to 8 p.m. That's something which I'm being very frank right now that time is gonna change. I have seen kids don't make it to 5:30 when the school starts and we start late. The class eventually ends at 8 o'clock, right? That's what I have learned from last year. So we are gonna shift the starting or the beginning time from 5:30 to 6:30. Will you recommend any books for these? Not a lot. I have like 2 or 3 recommended books, and we are going to go through those practice questions here in the class. But if there might be 1 or 2 more books that I will recommend. Again, they all depend on whether your students have time to do that. But in my experience, whatever they will learn in these mock tests, that's more than enough, right? Especially for Academies of Loudoun, it's more than enough. For TJ, yes, there might be a need to do a little bit of extra practice because that test is, I would say, little difficult, especially the problem-solving essay. You need a lot more prep work for TJ kind of a test. For Academies of Loudoun, there might be just 1 book, but again, it's very, very optional in nature. I will recommend, but it's up to the students or parents, they want to do that or not. But again, my Academies of Loudoun course is going to consist of at least 250 different questions in those mock tests for the critical thinking STEM assessment. So you should not worry about the coverage of all the questions. The questions on the test, they are going to come across very similar to the ones we'll practice in our mock test. How do we pay? Cash, Zelle. I will share the details later after successful trials. If parents want to enroll, we can actually work on the details. But again, as I mentioned before, even though you want to do both Academies of Loudoun and the TJ test, right now we are only taking enrollment for Academies of Loudoun. The TJ test will come after 3 months. So all you have to pay for is just for 1 course and not for 2 courses, even though you wish to enroll for both. I'll keep your spot. You just show me your interest that yes, you want TJ as well. So we'll keep your spot, but you don't have to pay for that now. Academies of Loudoun or TJ. This is the question I saved best for the last. This is something which has come up so much, especially when my son got selected in TJ and then he is waitlisted in AET, and if he gets into AET, this is something which we always think as a parent, which school is better for our kids. And last year, frankly, I was not even looking into TJ. My focus was all Academies of Loudoun. Other reasons, mostly reasons are logistical in nature. TJ is far away from where we live. But right now in this call, all I'm going to say is that let's leave these questions after the test results, right? If your son or daughter is eligible to take the test for both the schools, again, I would recommend to take the test for both the schools. They learn a lot while prepping for this test. They learn how to write an essay, how to do a problem-solving technique and not just get to an answer, but explain how they got to an answer, which is a total different skill. Even the most intelligent kids in my last year's class, they struggled to write an essay, right? They were able to get an answer, but not able to explain in a very good way on how they achieved their answer. What was their thought process, right? Step by step. So that is something they learn. So I would encourage that if your son or daughter is eligible for both the schools, don't think too early that, no, I will not take TJ test or I will not take Academies test. I would suggest take both the tests. Again, Academies of Loudoun, I don't think there is any specific criteria for their test. I might be wrong, but there will be an open house from Loudoun LCPS sometime in August, September timeframe, and they will tell more about criteria, but I don't believe they have a stringent criteria. But TJ, they have a very, very stringent criteria that there have to be straight A's and there have to be honors. There have to be. Yeah, if you're not talking, can you go on mute? There you go. So TJ has a specific criteria that is that your students need to achieve before even filling the form. And the TJ process, again, I'll explain more in my next open house in September. But long story short, if your son and daughter is eligible to take both the tests, you should not discourage them to take one of these. Let them take both, let the results come, and then you decide. Having the option is a better problem to have than having no option initially, or you losing an option by not taking the test. I think this is it in terms of my presentation today. I'm gonna go into some of the questions in the chat, and then I'll open it up for anyone who wanna speak and ask any more questions. Would you recommend students take the 3-month course in the summer after 7th grade? So Anu, you mean you mean it for rising after 7th grade means the next year for rising 8th grade students?
Precisely. Registered in July of next year. If she's a rising 7th grader this year,
Right.
that would make sense, right? That was in your FAQ.
Right. That would make sense. Yes. Again, this is my recommendation. Some parents they still wish to enroll their students. I will not stop them, but personal recommendation is they are gonna learn the same things next year, and it's better. And the way the tests are structured, if you have those mock tests done freshly, last 3 months before that you take the test, it's much more beneficial than you do a year before, right? So
I completely agree. I completely agree.
right. And then, so that's the short and sweet answer. But again, parents can decide for themselves. My recommendation is that if you're a rising 8th grader, go for it. Anyone has any more questions before I go to the next steps and show you the enrollment form, like how you can enroll in the trial classes? So tick 1, tick 2. Okay, so let's go to the next step of how do you enroll. And in case you have any questions that come to your mind, please, feel free to type in. We still have some time left. We can happily answer that. Okay, so there is going to be a registration link, and hopefully all of you are in the WhatsApp group that we have created. Most of the comms for now will go through that. So I will send the registration link in that WhatsApp channel. And once you receive that, it's just a simple Google form, and I'll also show you what it has. Just go and fill in. The classes are going to start next week. Again, it depends on what interest I get. I need a base minimum of 8 to 10 students to start even the trials. So if I get a good enough quorum for those kind of students this week, then the trial classes start from next week. Otherwise, we'll postpone it by 1 more week because we have some space in September to cover for those 20 sessions. The limit for my class is 15 per class. Again, right now I am planning to run just 1 class, Mondays and Wednesdays. But if I see there is more interested parents and students who want to join, then I might have a Wednesday class for 1 batch and a Friday class for another batch, and we'll figure it out, the logistics on when the mock test will happen. But right now, my initial plan is 15 per class, just 1 class for now. And in terms of the registration, so once you get the registration link, it's a simple form. All you have to put in your student's first name, last name, parents' first name, last name. Your phone number, preferably the one which you already enrolled in the WhatsApp group. That way I can map which student is for what parent and which number. I'll just clean up my list a little bit so I can communicate better for the ones who will choose enrollment after trials. So if you can put in your phone number here, then you need to put in whether your child is going to be in 8th grade this fall or 7th grade this fall, right? I'm going to prioritize the interested kids who are going to be in the 8th grade for the trials. If I get a lot of interest in the trials, but if I have some more spots available for interested parents of rising 7th grade, I will be offering some trial spots to them. But this is just for me to prioritize 8th grade kids over 7th grade kids in this program. The next question is, what would be your preference of the review day? Again, the mock test most probably is going to happen on Monday. And then once the students have taken the mock test, it means that they have submitted their answers. Then I need some time to review those answers. And then we are going to have a review session. Now, right now, my choice is Wednesday, but I would like to take this opportunity to, at least for the trial class, because I know there will be a lot of students interested in trial and not everyone will convert. So I may have a lot of traffic when we start the trials next week. So at least for the trial week, I am open to have multiple sessions if we have a lot of interest. I just don't want to have 30 kids coming together in one class. It's going to be 10 to 12 kids per class, depending on your choice of a day. But again, the selected day is not guaranteed. But if you have multiple choices, if your son or daughter is free on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evening, select all of them. If they have a pre-commitment in some other classes, just select the ones which will work for them, and we'll figure out the logistics once you fill in the form. And the last one is for rising 7th graders. Again, we also run a youth public speaking program, which is a separate than this program. It's purely on youth public speaking, where we are teaching them speech writing and delivering, right? So if you want your son or daughter to be a better at writing, right? And then, delivering is also icing on the cake, but better in writing, and you want them to prep. Again, I would recommend to rather join the youth public speaking class than the AET, AOS, or TJ class. Because TJ class, AET is very specific to TJ and very specific to Academies of Loudoun. But if you want more focus on how to write a speech, how to write an essay, and how to deliver it, especially for rising 7th grader, our recommendation is to not join this particular program, but have a check on our youth public speaking program if interested. And there are also free trials available there. So if you are interested, especially for rising 7th graders, you can say yes. If you're not interested, go ahead, say no, and submit the form. That's all. So this is something which I'm planning to share after this call, along with the recording of this session for all the parents who could not join today. But if there are any more questions from anyone in this call. So can you name the book that you were suggesting or talking about? I'll have to find that. I think it's in my notes from last year. Chirag, I'll suggest that during my course. But it's available in Amazon is what I saw last time. So that's where I got them from. So for Academies of Loudoun, I think there is one book on some critical thinking, reasoning. Again, not a lot of questions came from that book. We figured out later on, but that sets child up for thinking in that particular area, like how to solve that kind of a question, right? So I'll share that once we start the program. Any more questions from anyone? Yeah, Hema, the question is, last few years, TJ changing the testing instead of the math problem, they changed to science. How do you train the students? Well, they did not change the testing format since 2020, right? So before that, they also had multiple choice questions. They also had essay questions. But in 2020, they moved to a purely essay format. It's not between math and science. They still have, last 4 years, they're having the 4 student portrait sheet essays, right? They are still here. The math question, you're right. Sometimes it can be science. Sometimes it can be math. Sometimes it can be also math related to a business opportunity. So there are some, so if you Google, you will see exactly which year what question came. And most of the questions last 4 years or 5 years, they're around math. Even last year, it was a math, not last year, this February, it was a math-based question, right? So it can be a math, it can be science. When we have 10 mock tests, right? My focus will be 8 of them will be math, because I believe it's most probably going to be math, but 2 will be based on science. That's how we do. And some of them are actually the real prompts that came in last year with some change values, so that kids don't simply copy and paste by checking the YouTube videos, but they will give them a concept of how to solve what may the question might come, right? But my focus is more, I would say 80% on a math problem solving essay for TJ and 20% on a science problem solving essay for TJ. Not outside the scope of, so the question is, do you teach math science concepts? Not outside the scope of this program. So the concepts will be that if I give a test and the test is having a particular essay to be written, let's say there is a problem solving essay, which is a problem in there, and it's a time distance problem, right? When we review that essay, I'm gonna explain them the concept of time distance problem. I'm not gonna teach them generic math science concepts based on their regular LCPS curriculum. No, that's not what I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna teach anything around those mock tests and the concepts around that. So if my mock test does not have, let's say, a probability example, the students will not learn about probability concepts. But if there is a time distance example, they'll learn about a time distance concept. That's correct. So the question is, do you prepare test papers on your own? That is correct. I prepare test papers on my own. Any more questions? So we'll wait for another 30 seconds for any other questions from the parents. Okay, there is one question coming in. Okay, looks like there is no. Okay, it's still AOS and AOT has school quota. Yes, it has. Again, they don't divulge the details, but they do have school quotas. Every school has a limits, right? And last year or this year, I believe, I don't know on the top of my head how many students got into from Stonehill Middle School, but definitely they have a quota. We called them when we were waiting for our son's results, and they told us that there is a quota every school has, but they are not they cannot divulge the details of how much quota each school has. So what I see is that if the school is academically doing good, it means that they're all A grade, A plus grade students. It's going to be tough to get into a magnet school like Academies of Loudoun versus a school where there are less A grade students, right? There will be more chances. But again, they don't tell us exactly how it works, but there is a quota. That's the answer. And TJ also has a quota. Yes, the TJ also has a quota because TJ is and the quota of the TJ, because it's serving multiple counties, Loudoun, Princeton, Fairfax, and I think one more. So there are more schools. So it means per school in Loudoun, you will only get few kids getting selected for TJ as compared to Academies of Loudoun. Just to give you a comparison, again, and on an average per school for Academies of Loudoun, for both the programs, AET and AOS, there will be, let's say, 30 to 40 students getting selected across 8th grade. But for TJ, it will be, you can count on fingers per school for Loudoun, right? Because first of all, there is a Loudoun quota. Within Loudoun, there is a school quota, right? So again, they don't divulge all the details, but there is a quota. There is going to be more, TJ is more challenging in terms of getting into than Academies of Loudoun, especially for Loudoun students. They could, yes, they will consider school grades. TJ, yes. Academies of Loudoun, I am not sure if they have changed anything, but they were not very stringent in terms of grades. But TJ, definitely yes. Even for taking a TJ test, you'll have to fill in an enrollment form, and then they will get all the grades from your student's school. And if they have a criteria, and I'll share the link from the TJ's website. They have a 3-point criteria, and one of the point is the grades, and they have a subject criteria, like they have to be on honors, grade criteria that they should have this much GPA, and they give us a way to calculate that GPA, which actually comes out to be the student should be A's plus, and maybe B plus, not below that, right? And it's throughout 7th and 8th grade, and even after taking the test and getting selected in TJ, if your grade drops, they will not consider you for the final placement, right? So TJ is very, very stringent in terms of school grades. Good questions. Keep them coming. Any more? Okay, I think we are top of the hour almost. So just to conclude, after this call, I'm going to share the recording with you guys. I'm going to also share the enrollment form. If you're interested, please go ahead and enroll before Friday this week. I would suggest as soon as possible because it's first come, first serve, most probably for trials. I don't have a lot of spots open. So I'm going to do that. And I'm also, you know where to find me. If you have any more questions after the call, also, you can please ask me those questions and I'm happy to answer those. But again, thanks you all. I see a lot of parents joining in this open house today. So again, thanks you all for taking 1 hour. I know it's a busy timing, the evening times for all of us. So again, thanks from my heart for joining this session. And I look forward to having your sons and daughters working with me next calendar year. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for explaining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.